The UK finally regained a UFC championship when Leon Edwards knocked out Kamaru Usman late last year, but the country definitely misses the gorilla Darren Till. Despite being a potential competitor for Till, the champ wants to see his countrymen get back to winning ways. Leon's heartfelt message could inspire Darren. There are few human beings on the planet who know more about overcoming adversity than the new UFC welterweight champion.
And I'm reaching back, pulling at the arms. But this is still tight. This is tight. He can't have it. Leon!
His turbulent upbringing and family struggle were only followed by disappointment in the octagon when he lost the first fight to Kamaru, and then he was taught patience when the division began ignoring him despite having the longest active win streak other than the champ. Like Rocky stuck to his goals and stayed focused, and the champ thinks Till has lost a bit of the touch he once had.
Declaring the winner by knockout.
Till seems to be a little loose to Leon, and he could be referencing two things here. Firstly, it could be a comment on Till's technique in the octagon. Darren's wrestling has been his Achilles heel and cost him the fight against Duplay as well as Derek Brunson. If he wants to climb the ranks again in welterweight or middleweight, he's going to have to go through several wrestling phenoms, and tightening up that takedown defense is key. On the other hand, Rocky could be talking about Till's lifestyle outside of the octagon. The Liverpool fighter got entangled in legal problems in Spain for public disturbances and was arrested in Sweden for drunk driving, although neither of these problems seem to have had a major effect on his ability to compete when you compare it to some of his other troubles. The thing is, Till's knee injury continues to bother him. If you try, you can see the exact moment the gorilla's career took a downhill turn. It was in 2020 during a razor-close decision loss against former middleweight champion Robert Whittaker that Till tore his ACL.
Why did we call Till as well? Something happened to the eye of Darren Till, his left eye.
That was a good...
And put him out of action until late 2021. And when he showed up to fight a fired-up Derek Brunson on a winning streak, he looked incredibly out of shape, so much so that it became a major point of discussion after the fight. Till admitted that he could only get in some pad work and light cycling during his training camp, and had to avoid intense activities like wrestling. Needless to say, that's not a way one climbs up the top 5 in the world's most competitive MMA promotion, and Brunson soundly defeated the British fighter. Thinking back to Leon's remark of Till looking a bit loose in the octagon, not having his legs at 100% is detrimental to Darren's footwork, costing him counter-strike efficiency and speed. The troubles with the knee are continuing for Darren, and he uploaded a video of his knee being drained in the hospital after his most recent fight. A disheartening sight when you consider it was Till's best performance in the past 3 to 4 years, but still ending in a loss. He just couldn't convert fight of the night into a victory. Dricus Duplay is a scary contender, and everybody was expecting him to blow right through Darren Till, who had lost 3 of his last 4 fights, and that's what it looked like was going to happen in the first round under the barrage of strikes Dricus was landing on Till, but the gorilla showed classic tenacity by holding up. In round 2, Duplay had lost a touch of his quickness, and Darren was able to capitalize by landing his signature left hook and countering the South African consistently. It looked like the Till of old, and fans were at the edge of their seats the entire round.
By submission, due to a rear naked choke, Dricus still not Duplessis.
Expecting a knockout from the Liverpoolian that would put him back into the winning column, but he just couldn't land enough strikes, put enough pressure, or keep up the pace for long enough. Round 3 rejuvenated the new contender, and he carried forward the wrestling momentum he had gained at the end of round 2. An early takedown was easily converted to a rear naked choke, and Till took his 3rd L in a row because of another wrestling deficiency. But is it just injury and ring rust that's preventing Till from making a comeback?
Oh, that's another big left. He's teeing up that uppercut. Masvidal finds his feet.
Dana White may cut him from the roster altogether if the problems with Till go deeper than an injury. It could be his mindset that's bringing him down. Ask any veteran combat sports athlete and they'll tell you that your mental fortitude is just as important as your physical ability. Till's last fight proved that he has the skills to compete at the top, but it could be that the Brit has lost some of his confidence in recent years. Think back to 2018. Till was blowing through the UFC with the confidence that he was the best fighter in the world, and that's what you need to fight the cream of the crop. However, being dominated by Tyron Woodley when he was champion.
Right here, pull back right hand, pull back right hand.
Boom.
He's been looking for it the whole
right
time.
In the jaw, dropped him, cinched it up on his bicep, and just flat.
And getting knocked out by George Masvidal probably shook some of the belief from Till. Additionally, losing a
Here in London, he silences the crowd.
Wow! Unbelievable! Unusual entries.
close decision to another former champion, Robert Whittaker, and extending a losing streak can be a difficult slump to recover from, especially if you have to deal with an injury at the same time. Darren himself has expressed frustration over his inability to perform in the octagon, even when he's doing really well in training, supposedly giving his best rounds in the gym. This isn't a particularly unique problem for athletes who push themselves, but how do you get out of the loop?
If you have a big ego, that put problems, you get injuries, you get all that for what? Don't be the king in the club, be the king in the cage.
Yeah, king in the cage.
Edwards has an idea to get Till's mojo back. It would be unfair to Darren to claim he isn't trying hard enough in training camp or surrounding himself with ineffective trainers. The Brit is often seen training with some of the best fighters in the world, like his friend Khamzat Chimaev and the Italian dream Marvin Vettori.
I saw you fight. I'm like, oh, this guy's the man. Oh, he's a man. I go, oh.
Before his fight against Dricus, Darren was seen at Tiger Muay Thai, one of the best striking gyms anywhere in the world. But the Liverpool fighter fights out of his hometown gym of Team Calvin, and it's a really good gym too. Fellow Englishman and former champion Michael Bisping has been saying since 2021 that something as drastic as changing gyms may not be required. In turn, the contender should include a more fundamental wrestling gym in his arsenal, or work on his jiu-jitsu.
Looking to take his back.
Good scramble here from Masvidal, getting back to his feet. Not out of pressure.
Rather than involving himself in exhausting camps overseas for striking. Even Leon Edwards recommended Till maybe return to England and focus on his roots to gain the confidence he had when he broke onto the scene. All of this advice and speculation on the once shining prospect leads to all the important questions. What's next for the Gorilla? There are a few options Darren has, if I'm being honest, especially if you look at his return as a reinvention of himself.
He exceeded expectations, and what a fine performance. He never looked in trouble, and Darren Till.
Till's last few fights have been at middleweight, partly because he was cutting too much weight to go down to welterweight, and partly because his fitness has been off since his injury. But the truth is, Darren is a bit small for middleweights and has a considerable size advantage at 170 if he takes a hiatus from fighting for a while, something he said he might do in a video to his fans after his most recent loss. Then he could really get his conditioning and physique in order and rebuild his frame for 170 without having to cut too much weight. As for his next few opponents, it completely depends on what weight class he goes to and how much time he takes off, but it's safe to say we won't see him fight any top contenders right off the bat, because you have to climb the ladder a bit after 3 losses in a row. Whatever it is,
Still finding the opportunity. Very smart.
Lovely lead left hook.
Yes, very nice. Oh, there it is again. The left hand.
I know I want to see Darren in the octagon again, and if he needs some time off to make some tweaks, he's young enough to take the time.
Waiting, he's been working, he's been setting up this moment. Those years that he spent in Brazil, away from his family, away from his comfort zone, away from his friends.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.